Johnston, Donna Howell, Lauren Bridges, and Maggie Mace. The Nittany Lions are coached by assistants Lacey Rubin, Ralph Rosso, and Rachel Innes, and head coach Sarah Shire-Brown. Penn State, welcome to Iowa. Please move to your first event.
Earth, water, and fire. I stole only one from the gods. Fire. And with it, all eyes on us, we forge our will upon the nation.
Sophomore Kendall attention to the flag as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem, performed tonight by Hamana Lario.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Carver Hawkeye Arena in Iowa Gymnastics. I'm John Evans. Last week we kind of teased that Kira Smoke was done for the season, and we had a new mystery co-host, Mystery Solved. Erin Castle's joining us tonight. Welcome, Erin.
Hello, hello. I'm so excited to be back in Carver.
So this is the first time back.
I was at the meet last.
Okay, you were here last week.
Yes.
All right. So what did you think? That's a good place to start.
Yeah, they did awesome last weekend. A lot to be proud of. It's weird being on the other side of everything, kind of watching it from behind the scenes, but they did a really good job, and I'm looking forward to see how they do tonight.
So last week was 3 season highs on the apparatus. I always like to find something to pick on them on. They slipped a little on the bars. They've been the beam. They've been so good on the beam, but really picked up the bar routine.
Yes.
Of course, floor's been rock steady all year.
Yes, they're really trying to find their groove on bars, and they did a lot better last week. So they're gonna just hope to keep building off of that the rest of the season.
Last week was 196.825.
That's a good score. That is a good score.
Tied for 5th in school history.
Yes.
Iowa ranks 6th on the floor.
Yes, in the nation, I know.
12th on the beam, 13th on the vault. And I said 33rd on the bars, but last week was, again, quite a step up.
Yes, yep, like I said, they're just starting to get in their groove on bars, find the lineups that work, and so I'm sure that number will rise as the season goes on.
Allie Steffensmeyer last week, 9.925 on the bar.
Yes, incredible. She has a beautiful, beautiful bar routine.
So Iowa welcomes tonight Penn State.
Yes.
Penn State last week went up against Illinois. Got to find the notes there. Good performance for them. 195.475. They've actually had a little bit better score in some other ones, but ranked 23rd, 29th. Should be a good competitive meet.
It's going to be a good matchup. It's still early on in the season, and teams are kind of still trying to figure out the lineups that are going to work best, and sometimes that requires, switching things up at the beginning, and so the teams will just get more consistent as the season goes on.
And looking at they're going to start on the bars. They've been very good on the bars this year,
yes,
scoring 49 plus in every meet.
Yes, they've done very well at the bars this year.
Just kind of looking at some of the Alyssa Bonzel.
Yes.
9.95 on the bars.
9.95 last week.
Qualified for nationals last year, so should be should be a good place for them to get their feet on, maybe gain some momentum and see if they can make it a good, solid meet all the way around.
Yes, for sure. It's always nice to start on your strongest event.
That's a
Start
good
the meet off right.
Yeah, Iowa kind of comes the other way. Good at those two events, but then they bring it back to the beam and the floor where they've really excelled so far. Let's talk a little bit about you, though. I promised you we'd have to talk about you a little bit. Iowa's a very experienced team this year,
Yes.
but you look and you think, what's missing from last year?
Oh my goodness.
It's you.
I mean, I'm not there anymore, but they're doing great this year.
You were scores that counted last year, though, right?
Yes, I did get the opportunity to compete last year, and so it was a lot of fun. I miss it a lot, and I had a really good experience at Iowa during my 4 years. So.
And what are you up to now?
Now I'm living in Nashville. I'm going to grad school to pursue a master's degree in sports administration. So I hopefully want to work with college athletes someday.
Awesome. Well, we'll have a lot of fun today. This is my first year with gymnastics. I've just had an absolute ball getting to know the team. The coaches are fantastic, and
Yes.
I know we talked before. Talk a little bit about what the room is like. What the room is like with the atmosphere, the coaching,
Yes, Iowa has a very unique culture in comparison to a lot of schools. It's very family oriented. The girls are so close, and they really allow each other to fully be themselves. And so I think that contributes a lot to their success in the gym and on the competition floor.
So, what do you look for today? We're still early in the season. What's Iowa? I mean, obviously, you're trying to win every meet. You're trying to score the best you can. But realistically, what's kind of the positive step that Iowa hopes to take today?
Yeah, they're going to really be working on just clean routines, doing the routines that they do in the gym every single day, focusing on those landings. I know Larissa was talking to me earlier that they've been working on landings a lot, especially on vault in practice this week. And she's kind of put them under different pressure scenarios during practice to really hone in on those landings. So that's going to be something we're definitely looking for today from their routines.
I know earlier in the year when I talked to Coach Libby, it was really, she wanted them to be really aggressive.
Yes.
If you over-rotated, fine, but be really aggressive, go hit it. And it sounds like now she's, all right, let's fine-tune it, let's tweak it up a little bit, and let's clean them up.
Yes, the being aggressive, you always want to be aggressive in gymnastics. You don't want to hold back, but once you get comfortable under pressure situations and it gets later in the season, you really want to start cleaning up your gymnastics and focusing on the details. So they're starting to get to that point in the season where their mentality is going to shift a little bit to focus on the details.
We are just about to get going. It feels like when you look down with the Hawks, that first vaulter is gone. So Alex Greenwald. She'll kick us off. For the Hawkeyes on the vault today.
The touch period is over. The first rotation of tonight's meet will now begin. Penn State will be on bars, and Iowa will be on the vault. Let's make some noise for the Hawkeyes.
I like the new warm-ups from Iowa.
Yes, their jackets are pretty sick. Alex is going to open us up with a Yurchenko full. Starts from a 9.95.
On vault for the Hawkeyes, Alex Greenwald.
That was a good vault for Alex. And you could tell that she, her landing was controlled, and that's what they were looking for.
So we talked about that a little bit. The deductions get to be a little different up versus a big leap versus one small step or a controlled step.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The bigger the hop, the more deduction they can take.
Jessica Johansson now up for Penn State on the bars.
Takachev. Little short on that cast handstand, but a beautiful pack. Just a half pirouette. A little short on that handstand as well. She'll gear up for this dismount. Try to get a stuck landing, and she does. Wow. So on bars, they're really going to be looking for handstands, so being right on top of the bar when they cast, and then stuck landings and clean form throughout.
Allison Zelke will be up next for the Hawks. I'm not sure there's a whole lot of people that have their own vault named after them.
Yes,
This is
she has
pretty
her
good.
own vault. It's pretty incredible. It's called the Zulke, and she did it for the first time last week in lineup. So.
And she's got a 10.0 start value with her own vault. So.
Yes, it's a good addition to Iowa's vault lineup.
9.75 for Greenwald on her first vault.
So her vault is very unique. She's going to do a front handspring onto the board and then a half on.
Ooh.
Oh, and she sticks the landing. That was a great vault from her. And to start from a 10-0, there's minimal deduction in that, so that's going to be a good score.
That looked like a home run. Can't wait to see that score. Maddie Johnston now up next for the Nittany Lions. Still waiting on it. There it is, 9.825 for the first Penn State. That's a good score.
That's a good leadoff score. That's the job of the leadoff position, is to hit their routine and hit it clean, and she did that.
Because you hope you set a baseline and just work up off that, right?
Yep, that's kind of how they structure the lineups. They want a solid routine to start, and then they want to build the score from there. Nice release move there to a beautiful bail handstand. A little short on that cast. She'll do a blind full right on top. That was good. To a double tuck dismount. Stop. Wow, great routine from her.
Bridget Killian will be up next for the Hawks.
One of our seniors.
Is it different performing on senior night?
No, well, it kind of is a little bit bittersweet knowing it's your last time in Carver, but you kind of just got to do the routines that you know how to do. You can't think too much about it. Bridget's been really trying to get a stuck landing, so let's see if she can get it. A little hot back, but that was a beautiful vault from Bridget.
9.8 for Zelke. We got that score up, so good score for her. I'd have thought maybe she'd have snuck a little bit higher, but...
Yeah, they might have taken a little bit on height. The judges look for a lot of height off the table and distance from the table as well. And so those are elements that they can take deduction on.
Nikki Beckwith is up next. Again, still chasing the score for Penn State. The vault seems to just happen so quick, and then we're
it's a
little bit slower on this one.
Yeah, there's a lot more to judge off of a bar routine than there is on a vault, so the judging takes a little bit longer.
It's like a 9.8 for Johnston, so good score for her as well. 9.825 for Killian, so the Hawks walking their way up there.
With Straddle Yeager. Nice hitting her handstands in this routine. Pack salto. Pirouette a little bit shy of that handstand on that one. She hit that one. That was good. Winding up for that dismount. Beautiful double layout and another stuck landing. Great routine for Nikki.
Linda Zivit up next for the Hawks.
Linda's been a great addition to the Hawkeye team. She is just so full of life, so passionate about being a Hawkeye, and you can tell by the way that she does her gymnastics that she's just so happy to be here. She does a unique vault too. She does a soup full. Oh my goodness, she stuck it. That was a great vault from Linda.
She tied for the win last week in the vault, if I remember correctly.
She got a 9.9 on vault last week, so we're going to have to see what with that one scores because it starts from a 10.
So she's
the
hot.
Girls are saying 10, 10, 10.
She's hot. I like it.
Yeah. She thrives under pressure. She loves competing.
Cassidy Rushlow will do the vault next, or do the bars next for Penn State. Let's see if we get Linda's score before we get Beckwith's score.
On bars for Penn State, Cassidy Rushlow.
I could try to do the math backwards, but it would hurt me. There we go, 9-9 for Beckwith, wow.
That was a good routine. Here goes Cassidy. Nice cast handstand to a blind change. Beautiful straddle Jaeger, straight to a bail. That's a difficult connection, and she did it very beautifully. Nice cast handstand, blind full, double tuck. That was a little bit of a college stick. I think she moved her foot a little bit, but you got to sell it.
9-8-7-5 for Linda.
9-8-7-5. That's a good score.
That'll bring Lauren Guerin up for the Hawks.
Another one of our seniors, her last vault in Carver. Oh, she stuck it! Good way to go out of her vault career at Carver.
Good sign for the Hawks. They're kind of staying within arm's length of Penn State on Penn State's best event.
Yes,
so
that's a very good sign. It's always very helpful to the momentum, too, when you have back-to-back sticks. It makes it more exciting. And that'll bring up Q in there for their anchor so we can see if she sticks, too.
Lauren Bridgens will be up next for Penn State. She's competing in the all-around.
Yes.
She and Q Henderson will go head-to-head for that crown. I saw her turn the there we go. The Iowa vault score came up before.
Did we see what Lauren's score was?
Just the math tells me it's got to be a good one, but because Iowa's up to 49 now and with a chance to throw out a 9.75.
Yes.
That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I think on Lauren's vault, she had a little bit of bent arms on the table.
Okay.
So they might have taken a deduction there.
Okay.
But she did get that stuck landing, so that was good.
Yeah, and I suppose, those do all add up to 49. So 9.75 for Guerin, 9.8 for Rushlow. And Lauren Bridgens will now put up the fifth score for Penn State.
Nice bail handstand to a toe hecht. You don't see those often in college gymnastics, and she did it very nicely. It's a blind full right on top of the bar. To a stuck double back. Great routine from Lauren.
His coach is going to get tired if he fist pumps after every stick because they've been pretty good.
Yeah, they have been really hitting their landings.
Q Henderson now will finish it up for the Hawks. She looks so smooth in these things.
Yes, she has a beautiful Yurchenko full. She has great height off the table and really just finds that landing. She flares out her twist to really try to find that landing. It's a beautiful vault.
She makes those look so easy. You just
So
wonder, why don't you
easy.
just keep twisting and doing it?
Yeah, she did train a 1.5, I think, for a little bit, but it's early in the season. I don't know if we'll see it later in the season, but sometimes it's better to go with the skill that's cleaner and maybe like a little bit less of value just to ensure less deduction.
Alyssa Bonzal will finish for Penn State on the bars. 9.85 for Henderson, so the Hawks score 49.1.
It's a good score for them. Anything above a 49 is doing pretty well.
Still chasing the Bridgens score here on the bars. There hasn't really been a lot of controversy to have these, big question marks as to what the score should be. It's just a little slower on that side.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the delay is. As a gymnast, when you're waiting for the judges, it's always a little bit, you have to kind of shut your brain off and just wait for them to salute you.
The one judge we can see, it looks like there's another good score coming though, so. They've got the score posted, so I haven't seen it come up yet, but should be free to go get a routine underway here.
It's a Maloney to a bail handstand. That was beautiful. It's a toe hand to a double layout. Stuff landing. Wow. Great routine for Melissa.
9.825 for Bridgens. I would expect to see a score pretty darn good there too, I think.
Yes. That was a great routine for Melissa.
I think we've got at least one exhibition routine coming. So in the exhibition routines, do the judges score them and just not tell the crowd, but the participant knows kind of what they got, what they need to work on, those types of things?
Yes. An exhibition routine is judged, and a lot of times they will show the score. It just doesn't go towards the team's total, and it's really it's a good opportunity for that gymnast, if they're trying to get into the lineup, to show their coaches, like, hey, I should be in the lineup, and it's a good opportunity to get a routine scored as well.
She's turning around at 9.9, so this should be pretty good. But again, Iowa goes 49.1. Penn State is probably going to be 49.25. So not a bad place for the Hawks to be after one rotation.
Right. Vault isn't their strongest event, so to be in that position after the first rotation is really good for Iowa.
Yeah, 49.2 after the update, so 9.85 for Bonzal, so
10th difference going into the second rotation.
The next is on bars, Penn State, Maggie Mace.
This is
Maggie Mace.
Maggie Mace going to do an exhibition routine for the Lions.
Nice cast handstand. There's a Maloney to a pack salto. A little bit of a leg separation on that pack salto. She's going to try to do a pirouette here. Gearing up for that dismount. and do a double layout. Little low chest on that landing, so that might be a little bit of a deduction, but that's a hit routine, and sometimes that's what you need sometimes. So she'll be ready to go into the lineup if they ever need her.
So it's as a sophomore, maybe just gathering some experience.
Yes.
I don't want to say a hostile environment, but a different environment.
Yes.
You know, it's not your home gym. It's, you know, different feel of equipment, all those sorts of things.
Yeah, it's a completely different experience to go to a different arena and do the timed warm up and do the 4-minute touch and do a routine. And so that was a good opportunity for her to show that she can hit when she needs to.
So how is it? So I think of how I want to phrase the question. How do you make sure that you take care of yourself? It's a long season. You're going at it really about at least every week. You know, Iowa early in the season, win a Friday, a Saturday, a Monday, a lot of action. How do you make sure that you're at your best meet after meet after meet?
Yeah. That's a good question. I mean, there's the obvious things like getting enough sleep, eating the right foods, and, you know, just like doing your rehab and taking care of your body. But the athletic trainers that take care of college gymnasts are absolute saints. They hold our bodies together, and so they're a really crucial part of just like keeping us all healthy. Also, just like season's a marathon, not a sprint, and so the coaches know that, and they pace the athletes accordingly so that they don't burn out at the beginning of the season.
Is there a, kind of you know, as an athlete, you always probably I want to be all around all the time. And so that's kind of where the coaches step in and say, hey, maybe we'll do this and we'll kind of build to this. Is that the?
Yeah, I mean, the ultimate goal is to do what you need to do to make the team the best that it can be, whether that's one event, whether that's 4 events. And so, I mean, sometimes they'll pull athletes back from doing the all-around just to kind of pace them and help them sustain throughout the season. But I think especially on Iowa's team, you do what you are needed, like what's expected of you,
Sure.
and what's going to be the best for the team. And I think that's how it is for most college teams. So.
And I assume everybody's a little bit different, but one of the things that I find unique with gymnastics is, Allie Gilchrist is going to perform. She'll do the beam, or she's done the beam in different events. As an athlete, you know, when that's your one event and I've never timed one, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, whatever it is. What's your warm-up routine like? Because I can't imagine you sit around and wait all day and then go, here's my 60 seconds or 90 seconds worth of lights on. I mean, you see, you know, obviously they do lots of warm-up passes, those things. What was kind of your, I need to do this number of things to get loose, I need to do this number of...
Yeah, for every gymnast it's different. And once you get to college, and you go through a couple meets, you kind of figure out what works for you, how many of each skill you need to do to get your body warm. They have the 16-minute warm-up in the beginning on each event, and then when it gets to the competition, they have a 4-minute touch, so that's about 30 seconds per gymnast. And so by the time you get to that, you've already touched the event in the 16-minute touch. And so you're kind of used to the equipment. You know, you have the skills in your body, so it's kind of just like muscle memory at that point, getting your body warm so that it can do what it knows how to do. So.
Where was it, besides Carver, was there a place that really stood out as being a great place to compete?
I love Carver. Carver's the best. But I'm a big fan of Minnesota. I like their venue. There's the joke that Iowa and Minnesota are Big Ten besties, and so we always liked going to Minnesota and competing there. But honestly, all the Big Ten schools have really good venues, so it's a lot of fun to travel.
And Minnesota really stepped up to the plate for Iowa earlier in the year when the Georgia trip was canceled.
Yes.
Turns out that was great because Georgia had some terrible weather anyway, so Iowa didn't want to be down there. But Minnesota really stepped up, invited Iowa to the duel with UCLA.
That was so nice of them, yep. And they had a good meet, and that was a great opportunity for all of those teams because those were 3 really great teams to to compete against each other that early in the season. And so shout out to Minnesota Gymnastics, I guess, for letting Iowa do that. So
that's a nice resume builder for Iowa to take down UCLA. Didn't quite finish the deal with Minnesota, but so now Iowa moves to the bars. We talked about last week was better. So other than the obvious do the same thing slightly better, what do you think? What has this week been like as trying to tweak and improve the routines?
Yeah, I think it's always just trying to, hit those handstands, stick those dismounts, and have clean form and a smooth routine throughout. I think that they're just trying to build off of last week and really trust what they're doing. They don't have any problems in practice, so it's just getting those nerves out and just trusting their gymnastics and doing what they know how to do.
Well, you saw just from what clean landings can do. Obviously, Penn State had 6 awfully good landings there.
Yes. And that's what I was going to be trying to do. And Penn State on vault is going to be trying to get those clean landings. So that's gymnastics. Try to stick the landing.
Well, I assume, especially when you're chasing regionals, and I mean, you guys were so close last year that, there's no single person, but everybody has to think, if I would have taken that half less step, we qualify.
Yes, it's never on one person though. That's the one thing. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, that's just. I think it's natural to think, oh, I could have done this, I could have done that. But it's an individual sport, but it's a team sport, and it's never just on one person. So
when we talked beforehand, I have a golf background, and so you always think about that one little putt or the one shot that you could have had back. And
yes, I think that's natural of athletes, is to just think about oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, because you wanna do the best for your team, and if there's something that you could have done differently, you wish you could have done it differently. But
I'll try to remember to ask you then, because we're gonna get ready to start here. But how an individual competes in a team sport? That's an interesting, different dynamic.
Yes, it is a different dynamic to go to college gymnastics and start competing as a team. But honestly, I like it better than club gymnastics. When I was competing by myself, you have a whole family with you. So
Alyssa Bonzal will get started for the Nittany Lions on the vault.
Is it Yurchenko full? That was a pretty good landing. I think she could have gotten a little bit more height off of the table. So they might take a little bit of a deduction on that, but that was a solid lead-off vault for Penn State.
Karina Tolan will kick off the bars for the Hawks.
One of our seniors. She's been a great lead-off for Iowa throughout her career. She does a blind change to a Jaeger, straight to a bail. Very smooth transition. She's gonna try to hit that cast handstand. Beautiful. Blind full. To a double tuck. It looks like she hit her feet on the low bar going into that dismount, and so that kind of threw her off when she was doing her dismount and caused her to take a couple steps forward and maybe put a hand down. So that was a beautiful routine despite that dismount, but the Hawkeyes are going to try to probably drop that score and hit the rest of the routines in the lineup on bars.
Jessica Johansson up next. 9-8 for Bonzal.
That was a beautiful Yurchenko full. Wow.
They have Velcro on their feet.
Yeah, they got something. They're really hitting those landings today.
Ellie Rogers will be up next for the Hawks. So I assume the step's a problem, but the hand down is probably an even bigger problem.
I think that'll probably count as a fall, so that's a 5/10 deduction for Karina.
Ouch.
Those are great routines until that dismount. That was a little bit of a fluky thing. That doesn't usually happen, but it looks like she just kind of hit her foot on the low bar. So
9.85 for Johansson, still waiting on.
Ellie's new to this bar lineup this year. Oh, it looks like Ellie's new to this bar lineup in the recent weeks, and she has a new dismount this year. She's doing a double layout, and it's gorgeous. So I'm excited to see her add that to her routine. It kind of just completes the routine a little bit better.
Still waiting for him to clean up Karina's score.
Yeah, anytime there's something fluky that happens like that, the judges have to make sure they're all on the same page. So it's a little bit of a wait sometimes.
You can see the one score posted, but I can't see the other two judges over here to see how comparable they are, if they're on the same page or not.
Yeah, we can only see one score.
If she did clip her foot on the bar, is there any extra deduction for that?
I'm not sure in this instance they would take it because they're taking the fall. They might take it. I think, like, say she wouldn't have fallen and they saw her hit the bar, they probably would have taken a deduction. I don't know if they'll add that on to the deduction of the fall. I'm not really sure what judges would do with that. It's kind of a unique situation.
There's a little double insult to injury thing there somewhere along the way. I think the head judge got involved, so we might have some clarity here in just a second. So now for Ellie, does the delay, because obviously you know you've got a score you want to throw out.
Yes.
And now you're sitting there and you're waiting an extra 60 seconds or 90 seconds or 2 minutes before your routine. What's playing through your head now?
Yeah, I think you're kind of just trying to stay in the moment and stay calm. Sometimes our teammates will come up and talk to you just to kind of keep you in the zone. But as a gymnast, you know that that's a possibility at any point. We practice for that, and so I'm sure it won't affect Ellie. So.
Is that where the individual sport idea of I still just have to go do what I have to do thing comes in?
Yep. Still got to be the best that you can be for the team. Like, Quest is trying to loosen her up.
On bars for the Hawkeyes, Ellie Rogers.
9.15 for Karina, which is better than the other score I saw posted over there. So.
Yeah. There's a Maloney. Compact salto. Little bit of loose arms on that. Good half pirouette though. Just gonna try to hit this last handstand. That was great. And then this is this new dismount I was talking about. Double layout. Incredible landing from Ellie. They needed that routine. That's hard to come back from a fall in the leadoff position, and Ellie did a great job doing that.
Courtney Chinnery up next for Penn State.
Yurchenko full. Her chest was a little bit down on that landing, so they'll definitely take a deduction on that and maybe some height, but other than that, pretty good Yurchenko full.
I mean, where should I really even start?
Alex Greenwald up next for Iowa.
Alex Greenwald, one of the seniors, affectionately known as Grenis the Menace by her teammates.
We've got stories. I like it.
Yeah, you would think someone wouldn't like to be called a menace, but she just fully embodies it. She loves it. Her gymnastics is just very intense. And so it's she's a little menace. In the best way possible.
You can absolutely mean that as a compliment.
Yeah.
we should have both scores up now. Should be ready to go. 9-6-5 for Chinnery.
On bars for the Hawkeyes, Alex Greenwald.
Nice straight body cast handstand. Huge Ray. She's gotten so much better on that than last season. Toe hand, pack salto. She's being very aggressive. Good turn, getting that around. She'll do a double layout dismount. Beautiful landing from Alex. That was a great routine on senior night for her.
9-8-2-5 for Ellie Rogers.
That's a good score. That's a really good score.
Salcedo up next.
Wow, she does a half on pike off. That was a great vault. That's a very unique vault and it's very challenging, so she did that very well.
And Allie Steffensmeyer will try to defend her bars title.
She had a great routine last week. She always does that floss right before she goes. She does that dance every time she goes. I think it's a little bit of a superstition thing.
I'm all for a good athlete superstition.
Hey, gotta do what you gotta do, whatever works.
I mark my golf ball the same way. I wear the same hat. I understand that. I understand the
Everybody has those little
concept.
quirks.
Yep.
Yeah, she had a 9.925 last week on this event. Allison has beautiful lines on bars, beautiful straight legs, toe point. She's gotten a lot better since last season on this event, so I'm excited for this routine.
Salcedo with a 9.8 on the vault. Greenwald with 9.775 this time.
On bars for the Hawkeyes, Allison Steffensmeyer.
Nice cast handstand. Blind change to a pike Jaeger. You can see those lines that I'm talking about. It's almost textbook. Pack salto. Her little bit shy on that half pirouette. Good cast handstand, blind full, double tuck dismount, little hop back, but that was a great routine from Allison.
On ball for the Nittany Lions.
Cassidy Rushlow up next.
Yurchenko full. Short on that landing, and that'll be a 5/10 deduction for the fall. So they'll look to drop that score for sure. She didn't quite get enough block off the table.
How many years did you spend with Claire Kaji?
I spent all 4 years with Claire, and she's still here. She was there the year before I got there, and now she's here the year after I left, and so...
There might be a reason why she's called Grandma Kaji.
Yeah. She's had a great career at Iowa. Definitely changed the culture of the program, and it's become a household name in the Iowa gymnastics community, so...
She is so graceful in her movement.
Yes. Her bars is outstanding to watch. She just floats.
9-1 for Rushlow.
Cast handstand right on top of the bar. That was good. She does a Higgins grip to a straddle Jaeger. Another great cast handstand. A little bit far away from the low bar on that pack. She had to drag her feet. So that'll be a deduction. She's really doing a good job of hitting those handstands though. She'll gear up for this double layout dismount. Stuck landing, great finish to that routine.
9.825 for Steffensmeyer, so good score there. And Iowa kind of right back in business with a tough score for Penn State.
See if she can get that landing. Hop backwards, but that was a good routine. The Hawkeyes needed that. I don't know if you saw the podcast that Sasha Schmid interviewed Q on earlier in the semester, and it came out this week about her experience as a Hawkeye. And she's an incredible athlete, incredible teammate, and that podcast it brought tears to my eyes because I saw her go through that Achilles injury 2 years ago, and how much she's grown just not only as an athlete but as a person since then. So people should check that out if they haven't seen it. It's called the Herky Podcast.
Well, that's what we see, the finished product, and we see how smooth she is. We see how easy she makes all this look, and it's not what's easy for us to forget that a year and a half ago it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't all roses and easy.
Yes, I mean to have a season-ending injury, Achilles tear that she did right off the bat her freshman year. That's tough, but she kept herself involved with the team, and she was just positive and looked at it as an opportunity to learn her sport from the inside out. And what I loved most about the podcast was she brought up that Larissa asked her, "Are you afraid?" And she said no. And I think that just speaks volumes of the athlete that she has become. She's fearless, she's great under pressure, and she's incredible to watch. So I'm really proud of her.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've seen, if you put her emotion on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm not sure I've ever seen her move much off a 5. It's like if you watch men's basketball, it's Keegan Murray. It's at 4.5 to 5.5. They're just, things are great, I'm right here.
Yes.
Things are terrible, I'm right here. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's a good place to be though as an athlete. You're gonna watch Mac finish up her routine. She's been in the exhibition spot a couple of times. Goes over on that full pirouette, trying to get right on top of that bar. So she'll finish her dismount. But yeah, she's just stable, and Q is just stable and steady, and she's been an amazing athlete for this Hawkeye team. So
9.75 for her, so 48.95 for Penn State. I think it was 48.9 for Iowa. So Penn State extends the lead just a touch through 2 rotations, but Iowa in a pretty good place still overall. A little short on the landing there for Mac.
That concludes the second event.
I try to find the parallels. You know, it's the season starts and you just think, okay, I want to keep getting better and better and better. And obviously, there's still a cap on what score you can get. And so, what helps confidence? What hurts confidence? I mean, are you just trying to get it to where it's muscle memory and it's just easy, or what's kind of the mindset through the long season?
Just taking it one meet at a time, one routine at a time. I know that's something that this team is focusing on a lot, is just one routine at a time, and you can't move on until the first person hits, and then you try to get the next person to hit. And so with each hit routine comes more confidence. So I think that's something that they really try to focus on.
I always get the chuckle that they get about 2 or 3 minutes to move 8 feet. Penn State was pretty much here already, and now we're still kind of waiting for the start to happen.
Yeah, it's kind of a chance to warm up their bodies. Like, say they weren't on the previous event, and now they're going to be, say they weren't on bars, and now they're going to be on beam, or say they weren't on ball, now they're going to be on floor, so they can run around the floor a little bit and get warm, or jump up and down and do some skills on the floor before they put them on the beam. It's a 2-minute transition period.
I kind of chuckle though. They're hopping in the corners. Iowa has athletes working their beam routine on the mat over here.
Yeah.
Just kind of waiting for that. Give me the green light. Let me go. Let me go. So we talked about this last week. It's just the way the rotation works out. Q finishes up on the bars, and now she comes over and she's first on the beam.
Yeah, that's always like a little bit of a quick turnaround, but she's practiced it. She's used to it.
Before we get to that, Stella,
that's what the 2-minute transition is for, too.
The t-shirt toss. It's coming up right now. Our Iowa Spirit Squad is tossing out some t-shirts to you guys. Let's hear you get loud.
Everybody wants a good t-shirt.
I know. I want a t-shirt.
That's right, Kira wanted one of the 90s disco ones last week. So were you able to get one of those since you were here?
I wasn't. I didn't get here soon
Missed
enough.
out? So Penn State was, just kind of looking through, Penn State was 49.5 on the floor at Ohio State. So
that's a really good floor score.
A couple of high 48s the first 2 meets, but really bounced back there against Ohio State. And then their beam scores where they've struggled a little bit, and that's where they'll finish at. So
Now begin the touch period. At the conclusion of the second rotation, the team scores are Penn State 98.15 and Iowa 98.0.
we talked about Iowa's worst beam score was last week. It's still 48.975. So
They've got a great beam team this year.
Been over 49, really solid.
Yeah. Jess has really done a great job. This is her second season. She's done a great job preparing the beam lineup and finding the best people to go up and building consistency in the gym that translates to the competition floor.
And this was one of your events, right?
Yes, I did do beam for a little bit.
So we talked about it a little bit before, and I watched. One of the things that I've observed being new to this was the camaraderie. We kind of joked about it earlier. You're still doing everybody's beam routine.
Yes.
And we're going to have to mute you when they come out there and you do hawks when they do one of the floor things.
I know. I'll keep quiet for the broadcast, but...
How is it, though? I mean, it's one thing for me being a lifelong Hawkeye. And so, obviously, I want to see them do well. I appreciate what they do, and it's exciting. You're friends with a lot of these girls.
Yeah, yes.
You know these athletes. You know what they've put into it.
Yes.
How is it to watch?
It makes me proud. It makes me proud. They're doing so well, and I mean, the only people that weren't on the team when I was there was the freshman class this year, and then Linda and Alice and Zolke. And so, I mean, I've seen these kids for the last 1, 2, 3 years, you know, and they've all grown so much, and to see them do well, it makes me proud. So.
Well, you help put a foundation there. So I mean, obviously, what they're trying to accomplish is things that you helped circle, work ethic, those things. I mean, you're part of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the culture. And I mean, this senior class, they've completely changed the program. Claire and they've been competing since. These seniors have been competing since the very first meet freshman year, and they've just, poured a lot of themselves into this team. And so it's part of the culture. Just, I don't know, it makes me proud.
So we've got a minute before they kick into the event again. So you talked about it briefly. What is, you go from club, which is me,
Yes.
to this, which is me, team.
Yes.
How does that work?
I think that it's not necessarily me, team. It's more like I want to be my best self so that I can be the best for the team. So it's kind of just it's like flipping it from just being like I'm being the best for myself and it doesn't really matter how other people do. It's like I want to be my best self for the team so that the team can be its best self. So that's just kind of a little bit of a mentality switch, but honestly, I feel like it's easy to do when your teammates are behind you and you care about your teammates. You want to do best for.
So the parallel I have to that is, I can go play golf, and I can be a certain level of good, and I have a certain level of pressure. And as soon as you put me in a team event, I feel worse letting you down than I feel letting me down.
Yes.
Is that fair? Yes,
I think that's fair, but I think it's also important to know that, yes, there's those feelings there, but at the end of the day, the college gymnastics is special. Everybody has their teammates back. And so if someone messes up, it's like you know each other on such a personal level. You know what goes on in the gym. And so it's never personal. Everybody has each other's back. Now Q's going to start us off on the beam.
Get Q to get going here.
Nice full turn. Little bit of a balance check on that. She's going to prepare for her acro series. She does back handspring layout, step out. Rock solid for Q.
She's such a good blend of grace and power.
Yes, definitely. Nice jump series there. She has a very short routine. She has so much bonus stacked up that she does her series, she does her leap, and then she does a huge double back dismount, and she gets off the beam. The round off double back. Stock landing! Oh my goodness, Q. That was huge.
How's that for a foundation?
That was a good lead-off routine.
Alyssa Bonzal will start off for Penn State.
Another thing Q said in the podcast is, she had a breakout season last year, and she did well, but she's like, I just feel so much better this year, and I feel different in the best way, and she looks it.
This is your first time, but we have challenges seeing everything that happens on the floor.
Yes. Alyssa Bonsall. So round up back handspring double tuck. Great landing there.
I've been very impressed with how well Penn State lands.
Yes.
Pretty much everything.
Very controlled landings, and that's what you really like to see in gymnastics. It minimizes deduction. She does the back half front full. Now she gets to have fun.
Yeah, the poker faces from these floor athletes are much better than I would have coming in front of your teammates.
Round off back handspring double pike. Chest a little bit down on that landing, but it was very controlled. Great routine from Alyssa. Now we're going to see senior Allie Gilchrist on beam.
9.85 from Q to start it off.
That is a great lead off.
Allie had last week off. Good to see her back in the lineup.
Yep.
On the beam,
Especially on senior night.
Allie Gilchrist.
She's a side aerial, back handspring. Looks like she did her back handspring off. She was a little bit crooked on that side aerial. Switch leap, split jump. That's a new series for Allie this year. She's still probably trying to build some consistency on that. Nice hitch kick to side summy. Do a gainer pike dismount here. Little step on that landing. The Hawkeyes will probably want to drop that score, and they're going to need the rest of the lineup to hit.
Jessica Johansson up next, 9.825 for Bonzal.
It's a nice leadoff score for Penn State as well. First pass, round off back handspring double pike. Looks like she took a step out of bounds, so that'll be at least a 10th deduction for her.
Is there an additional deduction for the step and the out of bounds, or is it one or the other?
Yeah, they'll probably take a tenth for the landing being a little bit out of control, and then they'll take a tenth for going out of bounds. If there's 2 feet out of bounds, they usually take 3/10, I think. Going to her second pass. So 1.5 front layout. Deep breath before her last pass. Round off back handspring double tuck. Clean landing from her. That was a great routine.
So the rest of the lineup for both teams probably going to have a little bit more pressure on them than
A little bit.
try
Just
to make
need to
sure.
do what they know how to do.
Bridget Killian will be up next for the Hawks.
Bridget has been a staple in the lineup on 3 events since her freshman year. Now she's a senior here on senior night. Big deep breath before she goes.
8.9 for Allie.
On the beam for the Hawkeyes, Bridget Julia.
She's going to do a back handspring, back layout, step out for her acro series. Solid. Very nice punch front tuck. That's a difficult skill. She's going to go into her switch leap, switch leap. Very solid routine here from Bridget. She just has her dismount left. She does a round off double full dismount. See if she can get that landing here. And she does. Nice stuck dismount from Bridget. That was an awesome routine for her on senior night.
I admittedly know very little about gymnastics scoring, but Johansson got a 9.7, which for stepping out
Right.
is a pretty darn good score.
That is a good score for stepping out. There is very minimal deduction in the rest of the routine, I guess. So that's what you want to do when you make a mistake. You got to try to minimize the deduction in the rest of the routine. So
Make one mistake be one mistake, not 2 or 3.
yes, exactly.
Lauren Bridgens will be up next.
On the floor for the Nittany Lions, Lauren Bridges.
She's our other all-arounder for the night. She's going to go into her first pass. Round off back handspring, double tuck. Very controlled landing from Lauren. Front handspring, Rudy layout, step out. Wow, that was beautiful. Going into her last pass here. beautiful routine from Lauren. That's going to score really well, I think.
(9.75) for Killian.
Seems a little bit low for her, because that was she had a really great routine, so I'd be interested to see what they took.
Aubrey Nick up next for the Hawks.
Aubrey Nick, sophomore. She was my freshman when I was a senior. She has gotten really strong on this event. Gonna do a back handspring back layout for her acro series. Looks like she was a little bit off on that. So, like I said, when you make a mistake, you gotta try to minimize the deduction and the rest of the routine, especially now because they're gonna have to count a fall. So front aerial, good beat jump, very solid on that skill. Switch leap, split jump. Just gonna do a 1.5 dismount here. Round off 1.5, stuck dismount. And you know what? She fell at the beginning of the routine, but she had a great finish to that routine and definitely minimized the amount of deductions to take on the rest of that routine. So
9.825 for Bridgens.
On the floor from Nittany Lions, Elena Virova.
Alina Virova up next.
she had a career high last week of 9.875 against Illinois. Let's see if she can match that here. It's a double tuck. Wow, very controlled landing. Second pass. So front layout, front full. It's a very beautiful routine from Alina. She's just a freshman, but she's already made such an impact on Penn State's lineup, so she'll be one to watch for the future. Gearing up for her last pass. Handspring double pike. Ooh. Looks like she was a little bit short on her that landing. So that will be a fall for Penn State as well.
9-3 for Nick. Hawks, they don't have to be perfect to finish, but they're going to have to be pretty darn good if they're going to catch up at this point.
Yes, yes. Good news is they have some pretty strong beam workers coming up, and they're known for their floor. They're number 6 in the nation on floor, so hopefully they can finish the meet strong. We have Mackenzie Vance here coming up on beam, another one of our seniors.
On the beam for the Hawkeyes, Mackenzie Vance.
To her acro series, back handspring layout, step out. Beautiful from Mac. She has a unique skill here. It's called a Branny. Hold on, little balance check there.
Fought it off, I like it.
That was good. Toes are gripping the beam on that one. Straddle jump, straddle 3/4. That's a new jump series for Mac. She just switched it this week. Just has the dismount left. Side aerial, back tuck full, stuck dismount. That's the good routine for Mac. She's going to be happy with that one.
On the floor for the Lions.
Isabella Salcedo up next. 9-1-2-5 for Verova.
Yeah, Isabella had a 9.925 on this event last week, so this is a strong event for her, and this is a fun routine. She does a double front. You don't see that very often. That's a very difficult pass. She's having a lot of fun. She's fun to watch. I don't know if she stopped smiling this whole routine.
She blew one kiss there too.
She just gave me the eyebrows. She's having fun. She's a performer. Front layout, front full, front pike. Wow, beautiful routine from Isabella. That was great.
You get points for entertainment, W. That was very good.
All right, we have 60-year senior Claire Kadji.
9-7-5 for Vance, so got the Hawks back on the right track there.
Do an acro series, back handspring, back layout, step out, little balance check, but she kept it intact. Just trying to stay poised. Side aerial. Another little balance check.
Are those deductions or are they?
Yeah, so those are probably half temp deductions on each balance check. Just gonna do her dismount here. Nice landing from Claire. She got it. She did her job. She hit her routine. That was good.
Melissa Astorita's up next for Penn State.
From the Lions, Melissa Astorita.
This is an open double back. Wow, she didn't even grab her legs on that one.
A 9-8-2-5 from Salcedo, so good score there.
Going into her second pass. Round off 1.5 front layout. Series. Going into her last pass here. Round off back handspring double pike. Pretty controlled landing. That was a good routine.
Kaji with a 9.775, so the Hawks kind of stumble their way to a 48.425 on the beam.
Yeah, not their best of the season, but something they'll definitely bounce back from. They have a lot of depth on beam, and so just got to find the lineup that works for them. This is Alexa Ebling. She's a freshman. She exhibitioned last week as well. Looks like she was off on that. She hit a really good routine in her exhibition last week. So this is just about getting experience for her so that one day she can go into the lineup when it's her turn.
I imagine as a gymnast, some days the world's just a little bit off axis, and it's harder to hit those landings.
Some days you're just off. Some days you're just off.
Some days it's off for me walking across my kitchen floor, so. Forget a 3-inch beam trying to figure that out.
Beautiful front aerial to a beat jump from Alexa there. Her and Allie Gilchrist were teammates in club. So they're from the same gym, Chow Gymnastics. Pike gainer off the end to a stuck dismount.
That concludes the third event.
We'll head to the fourth event.
So the Hawks have dug themselves a little hole.
A little bit.
147.025 for Penn State, 146.425 for the Hawks. Funny enough, if you're going to make a comeback, this would probably be the two events that they could do it.
Yes. Floor is definitely their strongest event, and so if there's any event they're going to come back on and make up some ground on, it's going to be this event.
Roll out 5, 6, 9, 8 5s and higher, we'll be all right. So one way or another, this is probably, if you're Larissa, you kind of, in some ways it's not all bad, because now you can walk back into the gym and say, okay, we don't have it all figured out yet.
Right. I mean, you're never going to have it all figured out, especially this early in the season, you know. So it's just tweaking the things that you can, controlling what you can control. That's all anybody can do at the end of the day, and so.
And I haven't watched anything that I thought, boy, they can't fix that. They're in big trouble. I mean, it's all just a little off here and a little off there, and it just, sometimes it's that night, and you'd probably rather have it on a random Friday in February than.
Yes. I mean, it's never a good time, but early in the season, you know, you're still trying to get in the groove of things and figure things out. So, I mean, the meet's not over. They can still come back, but they're definitely going to want to be trying to hone in on the things that they can change to make it better for next week. So.
Don't miss the chance to see the Iowa women's gymnastics team compete on the podium with some of the best gymnasts in the country. For tickets, please visit elevatingthestage.com.
Generally speaking, the lineup has stayed fairly consistent this year. What's the, I mean, obviously you're looking in the gym, the routines. Iowa has a very experienced team, so you maybe do a little less tweaking, but when you get to the load management things, how much of the season is, okay, we've got to compete in every meet. We've got to try to win in every meet. And how much of it is, okay, I can rest Q. I can rest Lauren Guerin somewhere. What?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the coaches are pretty good at, you know, knowing when an athlete needs to rest. But also at the end of the day, all these athletes, like, they've been training all preseason to get their bodies in shape, to get their bodies ready to sustain such a long season. And so their bodies are trained to do this. If they need to rest, the coaches know that. But for the most part, they're ready to go every weekend. That's what they're trained to do, and so that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to put their best athletes forward so that they can get the best score that they can.
Well, that was one of the things that I talked to Larissa about just in the gym. When classes started, that's a new load for you. As we talked about it before the meet. All of a sudden, it's a different thing, and y'all are wired differently. So I mean, you don't have this. We were kind of debating about whether I would want a wrestler or a gymnast, and I'm not quite sure. You guys have the same type of mindset.
I know. That's actually what I've been told. I mean, yeah. I guess I don't really know. I'm a gymnast, so I wouldn't know the difference. But they're both very mentally tough athletes.
Well,
any athlete is mentally tough, obviously. But
let me ask you this though: if I told you go 75%, could you do it?
75% of what I used to be able to do?
Well, when you were in your peak, and I said to you, hey, look, I just want you to go 75% today.
Oh, no. That's not a thing.
And see, I think that's that has to be the coaching problem, and I've watched Larissa try to do that with whether it was Linda doing her passes, it was Q doing some different stuff. She's like, she'd look over at her, she'd be like, one more, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on the athlete for that. Some of them like to warm up way too many of their skills. And that's when the coach is like, all right, you're ready. You don't need any more. But I don't know. The other thing is that they pace their weeks to be ready to go. They pace their weeks of practice to be ready to go on meet day. So like they might be, like doing parts of routines on Monday and then doing full sets on Tuesday and Thursday and then come down a little bit on Friday to be up again on Saturday for the meet, that type of thing. So there is rest throughout the season. It's just strategizing when you're going to do that during the week so that you're still ready to go on the weekends.
Well, I know it's different for obviously Q doing the all-around, but Linda's doing a vault and a floor, which are both very leg intensive.
Yes. So
I know the days that she's worked vault, it seems like she works more on the dance side of the floor.
Yes, exactly. At our Iowa, I know that they only do one leg event per day, and so they'll do bars and beam every day, but they'll alternate floor and vault. And so if there is an athlete that does both floor and vault, then they're not doing 2 leg events in one day. And I think a lot of schools do it like that just to kind of, load management. So especially on the lower extremities, they take a beating sometimes during meet season with the hard landing. So.
Well, we talked about that watching, as they put up, when they're just practicing putting a pad over the beam or adding the mats into the corners for the passes, or sometimes they run through the passes instead of doing the full.
Yep. For sure.
We get Claire Kaji back in the lineup today. She exhibition last week. She's back in.
She did exhibition last week. She had a really great routine, so it's nice to see her back in the floor lineup.
Must have been a score adjustment somewhere. 147.025 for Penn State. Iowa got an extra 0.05 of a point there. 146.
Sometimes they'll do inquiries. The judges will put in inquiries if they think that a score isn't starting at the value that it was, a routine isn't starting at the value that it was supposed to.
When you're trying to make a comeback, technicalities help.
They do sometimes. Sometimes it comes down to tenths of a point.
Astorito will kick it off for Penn State on the beam. I hope their team finds a different spot.
Yeah, kind of hard for us to see. Guess we'll have to look at the big screen.
We'll take advantage of the new big screen.
Yeah. difficult skill. For acro series, back handspring, back layout, step out. Looks like she was off on that, a little bit crooked on the back layout, step out, couldn't quite get her foot on straight. So they'll be a 5/10 deduction for that. Good dismount though. It's always difficult to start the lineup on a fall. Iowa did the same thing on bars. They started with a fall, so Penn State will look to come back in the remaining 5 routines and hit so that they don't have to count that fall and they can drop that score.
Bridget Killian to get the party started on the floor.
She is an excellent leadoff for the Hawkeyes this year. She opens up her floor routine with a huge triple full. You're gonna see it right here. It's a very difficult E-level pass. Round off back handspring, triple full, and she nails it. She's excited about that one. She's gonna go into her combination pass. She does a front handspring, front full, front pike. Beautiful. Big deep breath before her last pass here. She's gonna do a round off back handspring double tuck to end the routine. Absolutely nails it. That's why she's in the leadoff. She can get the floor lineup going. That was a great routine for Bridge, her last routine in Carver Hawkeye Arena.
Hawks needed that. They could finally have some positive energy there.
Gives me chills.
9-1-7-5 for Ostarita. Romagnano up next.
Gonna do her acro series here. Back handspring, layout. She has a triple flight series, which is very difficult. She adds that extra element. Gives it a little bit more bonus and makes it more difficult.
I watched her warm up. She was very smooth with just in her movements and very graceful.
Yeah, she's looking very poised up there. Nice split jump to a stag jump. Really hitting that 180-degree split that they're looking for. Do a side aerial, back tuck full. A little bit of a bounce on that landing, but that was a great routine to come back after a fall for Penn State.
9-7-7-5 for Killian. Feels a little low.
I mean, the judges, it's subjective, but I think that was an excellent routine for Bridget. I don't think she could have done much better. She did exactly what she was supposed to do, so she should be happy regardless of what the score is.
Alex Greenwald's turn.
Alex Greenwald, she's become a little bit known in the NCAA for this floor routine. People are really liking her music and how intense her floor routine is, so we're going to see it right here. She opens up with a full in, huge full in, very controlled landing. Switch side Copa. It's very intense. Alex does a 2-pass routine. You saw Bridget Killian do 3 passes, but Alex has enough bonus a 2.5 punch front for her last tumbling pass here. Back 2.5 punch front. Beautiful routine from Alex Greenwald. And her last routine in Carver too. Oh.
9-7 for Romagnano. Bridgens up now for Penn State.
This is her 4th and final event of the competition. Pitch kick, front toss, a little bit of a bobble there, but she regained control. Switch leap, side aerial. That's a unique combination, but she was really solid on that. Series, back handspring, back layout, step out. Looking very calm during this routine, which is what you want to see on the balance beam. Just has her dismount left, she has a round off. 1.5 to a stuck dismount from Lauren Bridges. That's a great way to end her night.
Claire Kaji up next for Iowa.
Yes, first time in the lineup this year.
On the floor for the Hawkeyes, Claire Kaji.
Nine for Greenwald.
That's an outstanding score for her. So this is actually Claire's routine from, I think it was 2019, 2020. And so she had a different routine last year, but she's throwing it back to the routine she did 2 years ago, which is always pretty fun. Round up, back handspring, double pike. Beautiful landing from Claire. Crazy to think this is her last routine in Carver too, after 6 years. Beautiful routine from Claire.
9-8 for Bridgens on the beam. Salcedo up next. I like her music choices.
I don't think she picked this one, but it fits her well. Back handspring, back layout, step out. Very solid. She is just so much fun to watch. Split jump. Split 3/4. Very nice. Front full dismount. Small hop on the landing, but that was a great routine for her.
Had the Iowa gymnast dancing over here again. 9-9 for Kaji as well.
Well deserved, well deserved.
Linda's done more tweaking to her floor routine to try to get it to that 10-0 start value. She's added things into it, trying to get back, as she's gotten healthier and healthier.
Yes.
On the floor for the Hawkeyes, Linda Simmons.
Front through to a round of back handspring double tuck. A little bit of a big step on that landing. She had so much power. Nice jump series there. She's gonna gear up for her last pass. Front Rudy, back layout, step out. That back layout, step out just floated. Just beautiful. Wow, incredible routine from Linda. That's a great addition to the Iowa floor lineup this year. She's having fun.
9-8 for Salcedo. Johnston up next.
Deep breath before she does her acro series. Back handspring, back layout, step out. Really solid on that series. Split jump, sheep jump. That's a very difficult jump because she throws her head back and loses sight of the beam for a little bit, but she did very well on that. Side aerial. She is rock solid on this routine. Gearing up for a dismount here. Round off, 1.5. Step on the landing, but that was a really great routine.
9-9 for Zivit as well.
Got 3 9-9s up in here.
On the floor for the Hawkeyes, Jerquavia Henderson.
The first of the Iowa Big Ten champions here.
Yes. Nice round out of the lineup. She does such a great job performing this routine. Not to mention the tumbling. It's huge. She's gonna do a huge full in here. Stuck landing. She didn't even need to take a step on that. That was incredible. Last tumbling pass here. Does a front tuck, step out, round off back handspring, double tuck. Another stuck landing. Oh my goodness. If that's not a 10, I don't know what is.
Give me a number here. Come on.
That is the best routine I have ever seen her do.
I know zero
Carver
about
is
score,
exploding.
but that's got to be it.
That's got to be a 10. Throw the 10. Throw the 10.
Amy Bladen up next, but a little bit of an aftershock here in Carver.
Oh, back handspring layout, step out. That was beautiful. Oh, looks like she was off on that side summy.
This could be it.
in that one as well.
9.975 for Q.
Oh, man. What did they take? Well, she set Lauren Guerin up for pretty well for a 10, so looks like she struggled a little bit in that routine on beam. So Penn State will look to drop that score. It looks like they already have one fall, so they'll be counting a fall, but they'll probably be dropping that routine.
Lauren Guerin up next. Hawks are actually going to come back and win the meet with a strong floor routine here.
It's down to this, I guess.
And it's been a rough night. If Lauren, what's Lauren need? 9.9-ish? 9.85, and the Hawks will actually get to that 196 score, which,
yes,
again, will feel a little unfulfilling, but it's a nice floor to have.
Yes, I mean, they've done a great job coming back after a little bit of a rough beam rotation, so Lauren Guerin has been chasing a 10 since the day she arrived on campus, and this is her last routine at Carver, so let's see if she can get it. She's come near perfect so many times. Gonna open up with a huge full twisting double back. Really good landing.
You talked about momentum building. You can just feel it with these floor routines.
Yes, you really can. There's a reason I was number 6 in the nation on floor. And this right here, I think, is the reason why. You can tell from this floor lineup that they're so experienced and they're so talented, and their routines are fun to watch. Front through to round up back handspring double tuck. Nice controlled landing. Last floor routine in Carver for Lauren.
I don't know what this score is, but I'm going to go out on a limb. Iowa's going to count 5.99 plus.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
That is outstanding.
Great ending to the meet for Iowa. Still got one more exhibition, I think.
Tough finish for the Penn State gymnast.
Yeah.
Penn State's team score 48-3.
Switch side, that was a really good switch side. You know,
Yes,
they've struggled a little bit on beam this year, but again, like I said, everybody's still kind of trying to find their groove, find the lineups that work best. One and a half dismount, a little bit crooked on that, took a step, almost off the mat.
Still waiting on Lauren's score. Hawks are going to go over 196. That might be the same, 9.975. In volleyball, there it is, 9.975.
Oh man, Q and Lauren both had 9.925s last week. Now they have a 9.975, so I guess next week they're both getting 10s.
So Hawks come roaring back, 49.65 on the floor.
A tremendous floor score. Like, that is just through the roof. Great comeback for the Hawkeyes. Larissa's going to be proud of her floor squad for that one.
I thought they'd been great on the floor all year. 49.425 was their best, and that was last week, and they just blew that out of the water this week.
They did.
Marissa Rojas got a new exhibition routine. She's been great.
This is actually Karina
McSweeney.
She she's an Iowa native from
Kennedy?
Cedar Rapids, yep. But she went to Triad Gymnastics, which is actually where I did club gymnastics for club, and then now she was out injured with a hip injury last season, so she's just starting to try to get some experience under her belt this year so that she'll be ready to go when they need her. The front handspring, front double full, a little bit under rotated, but that was a great E-level difficulty pass, so. Gearing up for his second pass. 1.5 front layout, beautiful. Switch ring. Big deep breath before she goes into her last pass. Round off, double tuck, chest down a little bit on that landing, but that was a great exhibition routine for Karina McSweeney.
Good to see her out there.
Yeah.
So we do the official tally and all that, and then we'll come back. But first, we get the cha-cha slide, which of course you're well aware of. Are you going out there? Or are you going to stay with me?
I'll stay right here. I'm in heels right now.
Fantastic. I appreciate that. So we'll get the scores totaled up, and
Fans, let's hear you get loud for some T-shirts. Iowa had 5 names and they're on the floor.
they should honestly throw out bonus T-shirts for the 599.
I know, right?
Scratchy, 9.9. Linda Zivit, 9.9. Flavia Henderson, 9.975. And Lauren Guerin, 9.975. Senior parents, please report to the tunnel for tonight's senior presentation. Senior parents, please go to the tunnel. Thank you very much.
So we've got a little bit of time here. They'll come out. Penn State's not aware that they're going to have to do the cha-cha slide. They're about to sit in their line here, and maybe they're ready. They're sitting out. They're
Senior recognition will begin in a couple of minutes. But first, it's time to return to a Carver tradition that looks a little different this year. Get on your feet, put your dancing shoes on.
I miss when the kids used to be able to come down pre-COVID.
yeah. So while they're sliding, we talked a little bit about this beforehand. So it's the first week of February.
Yes.
It's senior night.
Yes. Pretty unusual.
The season's not over yet.
Season's not over yet.
So what? And obviously, it doesn't really matter where the events are, but kind of walk the viewers through what's the rest of the season look like.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's pretty early in the season for senior night. Usually that comes, in March when season's kind of wrapping up. But they still have a lot of Big Ten meets left. They're going to go to Big Fives. They're going to be against in-state rival Iowa State. They're going to go to Big Tens, and then from there, regionals and hopefully nationals. And so they have a lot of season left. It's bittersweet. Always competing. It's always bittersweet. The last time you compete in your home arena, but I know that the team is focused on the rest of the season, and they're not done yet. So
is the Big Five meet? I know there's the 10 Big Ten teams. You split them up in two.
Yes.
Is it to give the teams a taste of, hey, this is what regionals will feel like and taste like when you can get there?
Yeah. They usually do. I actually don't know if they still do Big Fives on a podium. I think they do Big Tens on a podium. But it kind of gives more of like a championship feel with, 5 teams competing in an arena versus 2. That brings a lot more energy to the table, and it kind of just gets them in that postseason mindset before postseason comes. So yeah.
And when you say the seating, or the podium, so maybe like the top 5 teams from last year would be at the meet, and then the other.
Yes, they usually. It depends on this, like where you're ranked. Going into Big Fives. Usually the top 5 teams go into the night session, and then the bottom half of the conference goes into the morning session. So your goal is kind of always to try to get to the night session because you don't want to wake up that early and compete in the morning session. And so, yeah.
When I talked to Coach about that, and that was part of what maybe held you guys back last year at regionals, right? You ended up in the morning session, performed outstanding, whereas maybe you got flipped into that. Maybe you get some of the 9-9 energy because the other teams have helped build it too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it doesn't really, you can't really think about the time of the day that you're competing just because, that's not very productive. But it is always nice to not have to get up super early and compete. So the goal is always to make it to the night session. But
I always hate those pre-8 o'clock tee times too. So.
Yeah, I personally don't function that well before 9 a.m. So.
I didn't do a very good job. Last week I did a pretty good job. I kept track. I knew kind of who won each event. Obviously, I know who just won the floor.
Now begin the awards presentation.
I feel like Penn State might have won most of the events.
Yeah, they had really good vaults and bar routines. So I guess we'll kind of just see.
First award goes to the standout MVP for Penn State, Lauren Bridges.
Standout MVP to Lauren Bridgens. Their all-around competitor.
2 standout MVPs for the Iowa Hawkeyes. The first, Lauren Garrett.
After Q and Lauren's routine, I'm not quite sure how they're not both going to
Right.
be there.
There you go.
That didn't take a whole lot to figure out, I don't think.
Right.
Now let's recognize
Very close to perfect routines, about as close as you can get.
and falls with a score of 9.875 from Iowa, Linda Zivit.
Linda defended her vault title. Good for her.
Well deserved, well deserved.
Bars with a score of 9.9 from Penn State's Nikki Beckwith. On B with a score of 9.
Nikki Beckwith wins.
From Iowa, Jerquavia Henderson.
Q takes the beam title.
Well deserved again. That was
And that was
amazingly
the
off
opening
routine.
score.
Yeah.
We have a 2-way tie with school record 9.975 from Iowa, Lauren Garrett. And from Iowa, Jerquavia Henderson.
Pretty awesome. Would have loved to have seen both of them just get that
I
quarter
know.
higher.
I know. Hopefully we'll see that by the end of season.
Jerquavia Henderson.
Q wins the all-around at 39.425.
Now it's time to announce the final scores of our meeting. In second place with a score of 195.325, the Penn State University Indy Lions.
If Penn State, though, can clean up the bar routine or the beam routine a little bit, they'll be where they want to be by the end of the season.
They've honestly looked really good this year. Just got to get those couple things together, and they'll be up there in the Big Ten.
Always better to win on.
Let's go all our competitors. A big round of applause.
Always better to win on senior night than not.
Yes. I think the whole team, it kind of, you try not to have it in the back of your mind, but you're like, oh, I want to win for the seniors,
So I will put you a little bit on the spot here. So as we go through senior, You know, it's a little bit of the I get it's what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas sort of thing.
Yes.
But maybe as we're going through the seniors, you can kind of give me a little bit of that scoop and a little bit of the dirt of she was this way and she was this way.
I would love to. I would love to. Yeah, no, I was very close to the class below me, and so these are my best friends.
So you decided you wanted to move on though instead of take the COVID year and.
Yeah, you know, it was that time. I wanted to get my career started and start working towards that. I do miss it a lot, but yeah, it was just time to start my career, I guess.
It's got to be a tough decision, though. I mean, it's on one hand you can't do this forever. On the other hand, you need to get started and.
Right. I mean, I did gymnastics since I was 3 years old. I ended my career, and I had a great senior season, so I was, ready to be done.
I read the story, by the way. I love the fact that you were bouncing off the walls and they had to find something for you to do.
I feel like that's a classic gymnastics story. Too much energy, so parents put you in gymnastics.
I'm sure it's probably a little of an urban legend at this point. It's gotten bigger than what actually happened, but it still makes for a really good story.
Yeah.
Iowa going through and doing a nice thing. They're honoring the Penn State seniors as well.
Courtney Chinnery.
And Brian Ray over there, the best photographer in the business, will get him some good shots.
Yeah, shout out B-Ray. Caught me off guard earlier when he was taking a picture of us. I don't know if I was looking.
He'll crop me out. The picture will be great by the time it's over.
Let's hear it for the Nittany Lions 2022 senior class.
As I looked at their roster, it seemed like they were very experienced or very young.
Yes, which honestly is a good thing. You know, they have those senior leaders that are able to teach the younger ones coming up, how to handle the pressure, how to, set the culture. And it's good that they have those young people coming up because that's going to be the next generation for them. So,
fans, please welcome a very special member of the Jim Hawk family, Senior Manager Carter Dochterman.
Honoring Senior Manager Carter Dochterman.
Carter found his way to Iowa gymnastics by way of a childhood and family friend, Ryan Ruckdaschel. We were first introduced to Carter at a competition in Minnesota. So young and innocent then. An obvious great choice based on his experience with gymnastics and our needs.
Carter's been a great manager for this team the past 4 years. There wasn't really teaching him. He just knew what he needed to do, and he is the one that is pushing the mats and setting the boards, and it's a lot harder of a job than you would think, and he's just done a phenomenal job of it the last 4 years. And I mean, honestly, I don't know what we would have done without him because he was quite literally saving our lives sometimes with pushing the mat, but he's been really great for Iowa, and he's going to be missed, honestly.
We talked beforehand about the non-premier sports, we'll call them, how the athletes don't get the credit for being full-time students, full-time athletes. The managers may be even more.
Managers don't get enough credit.
I mean, I've been around the volleyball team enough to know what those managers do and go through. Gymnastics, I'm sure. He's got his own fan club. I love it up here. I mean, it's a lot of work, and there is no glory in this part of the work.
Right.
The people that do this job, but I'm not sure anyone will ever impact the team the way that Carter has. Without question, he exhibits a strong work ethic, but he's also kind, very positive, motivating, and knows exactly what the team needs. When he is in the gym or on the road, our team knows what they are, his number one priority. Carter, you have been an invaluable member of the Jim Hawk operation. Your passion for the Hawkeyes, dedication to the program, and our culture culture and your willingness to help take this program to the next level have been nothing short of amazing. We certainly feel blessed to have had the opportunity to work with you and know that your graduation, while exciting, will certainly leave a big hole for us to fill. Thank you for your undying dedication to Iowa gymnastics. There will never be another Chef Doc like you. Let's hear it for Carter Doctorman.
I hope that the listener, the viewing audience, could hear that ending there for that dedication. That was pretty cool.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the University of Iowa Gymnastics program would like to recognize their 7 graduating seniors. Members of this graduating class are All-Americans, Big Ten selections, and school record breakers. Even after their season got cut short in 2020, this class came back and led the Gym Hawks to becoming regular season Big Ten champions in 2021. Our senior class will be presented tonight together, the same way they joined us 4 years ago.
I'll let you announce everybody walking out if you can do it without breaking up here.
Yeah, we got Allie Gilchrist, she's from Iowa. Alex Greenwald, Lauren Guerin, Bridget Killian, Karina Tolan, and Mackenzie Vance. And they honestly, I can't even put into words how much they have positively impacted this program and just completely changed the culture. They're going to be so missed. I know Larissa's already in denial that they're leaving, but they're going to be so missed.
Next, Alex Greenwald.
Alex Greenwald. Grennis the Menace.
Christine and sister Gabby.
Allie's headed to law school somewhere.
Allie is headed to law school. She hasn't made her final decision yet.
She's got some pretty good offers.
Yes. Alex is going to PT school in Florida. Lauren is going to chiropractic school. And Bridget is going to be going to nursing school. She hasn't made her decision where to yet. But and then Karina Tolan is also going to be going to nursing school. So.
Escorted tonight by her parents, Mike and Nana Lee. Next, Lauren Guerin. Escorted by her father Noel, her mother Heather, grandfather Tom, and longtime boyfriend Ethan Mendez.
Longtime boyfriend. That's quite a label for him.
Yeah, they've been dating forever. I always used to joke that she was going to get engaged on senior night. But I don't know.
Alyssa and Kelly. The Gym Hawks have dreaded this moment since the first day that these young ladies stepped onto campus. An incredible group of women, young but eager, shy but focused, inexperienced but determined to rise. These ladies have come full circle. There are always cycles of team members that bring some.
I don't think I've ever seen a class that has been so cohesive and just so on the same page as this class. They're completely different people, completely different personalities, but they blend together in just the best way. They're always all on the same page. They always want what's best for the team. They're able to relate to the younger girls. They're able to nurture them and help them figure out who they are and how they can make an impact on the team. And they've just been incredible leaders.
I love doing the announcing. I hate senior night.
Bittersweet.
Even the short time I've been around this group, I hate watching them go. And it happens then to me every year.
Yeah, it's very bittersweet, especially for a group like this. Like, they just do the right thing all the time. They have good grades. They just work hard. You know, Allie, Karina, and Mackenzie were walk-ons their first 3 years, and at the banquet in September, they were presented with a full scholarship for the year. And so I think that's just a testament. Like, it was so deserved. They've worked so hard. They never complain. They buy into the culture, and they're just really, really incredible people from the inside out. So I'm so lucky to have be best friends with them and have gotten to, you know, be on the team with them for 3 years and watch their careers unfold. So
we know they still have so much left to do as they complete their journey with the Hawkeyes. For your integrity.
As he just mentioned, that's the weird part about this. You hope there's 2 months left of this season, and yet we're kind of saying goodbye because we won't be back in Carver.
Yep. Yeah.
You have made us who we are, and no matter what the rest of the season has in store for you, nobody can ever take what you have accomplished away from you. Our wins, our championships are amazing, but your part in developing, empowering, and standing behind the culture of this team is your absolute legacy. You are legendary to us, and you always will be. So tonight, we honor you and thank you for your role in our growth as a team and a family. We know that you will all be successful no matter where you go, and remember, you will always have a home to come back to. Let's hear it for our Hawkeye seniors and family.
Once a Hawk, always a Hawk, right?
Once a Hawkeye, always a Hawkeye.
Jim Hawk fans, thanks for coming out tonight. Tonight's game concludes our 2022 home season. Thank you for all your support.
So Hawks head to Rutgers next week.
Yep.
Big 5 meet. Another trip to Minnesota. Drop gloves with Iowa State, so they'll be over in your old neighborhood.
Yes.
Drive home safely and go Hawks!
Fun one against California, and then Big Ten championships middle of March, and hopefully they get to spend a little bit more time at regionals and some other fun stuff like that.
Yes, they have an exciting season ahead of them. They're gonna be they're already so much better than they were last year, and I'm so excited to see where they go this year. So
well, that'll do it for our Big Ten gymnastics season here at home. Appreciate you joining me. Any last words?
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Hawkeye fans, for letting me commentate. It's been a pleasure.
Great having you with it. So I could be the dumb fan, and I can have the expert. So I appreciate it. So for Aaron Castle, I'm John Evans. Thanks for tuning in. You've been watching Iowa Gymnastics on Big Ten Plus. Have a great evening. Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.